Before you go ahead and enjoy Cosmic Shake, let's talk about the original. What up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am your host, Mike Fury, and I make informative videos just like this one. So please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. And with that being said, guys, here is my review for SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is the remastered version of the 2003 cult classic, which begs the question, can something be a cult classic if it's based on one of the greatest shows of all time? Your guess is as good as mine. But seriously, it's a platformer from yesteryear, similar to old classics like Crash or Spyro. The story focuses on SpongeBob as he tries to free Bikini Bottom from the robot menace after Plankton lost control of them. It's silly, funny, and it's basically your own SpongeBob movie. Let's start off with the presentation. The game looks good, hands down. It is literally a night and day difference between the original SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom and this one. Rehydrated Edition makes that version look drier than Satan's toenails. And it's not only that, it's the fact that they brought everything to life. Everything feels like a real living like city, like it's like something like directly from the show. That's why I said earlier that it is like a movie, and it's everything from the incredible color palette that they use. It looks vibrant, saturated as all hell. It looks really good. It also has iconic locations, and they brought these locations to life, not only with the regular hustle and bustle of Bikini Bottom, but also with some madness thrown here and there and putting into weird situations. You'll see iconic characters from obviously the Squidwards and the Mr. Krabs and Patrick Sandys of the world, but also you'll get to interact with Bubble Buddy. And a lot of the side characters that don't get too much shine get a lot of shine here, which I do appreciate. Now, there's a bunch of little details here and there, like face expressions while they're speaking, and hands down, it is one of the better looking remasters.
Well, I guess you're off to scale Spork Mountain and die a horrible death under the vicious tentacles of King Jellyfish. I'll stay here, balled up here in excruciating pain.
You do that! Don't worry, Squidward. I'll bring back that King Jellyfish jelly for you to rub all over yourself.
Same goes for the audio. Now, you have a lot of the original actors reprising their roles. And if you're a fan, you're also going to notice the fact that some of them are missing due to really weird circumstances. Like, for example, Mr. Krabs is missing, and he was missing because he was doing Jack 2. Hey, it happens, I guess. So they had to get a replacement, and the replacement isn't bad, but at the same time, you do notice it if you're a fan. Now, if you're not a fan and this is the first time you're interacting with SpongeBob, you ain't gonna notice anything. For you, this is your Mr. Krabs. And technically, the replacements don't miss a beat, so don't even worry about that part. The soundtrack is awesome. You can definitely catch the same vibe as the show, and all the separate locations all have their own melodic twists to them, if not pulled directly from the show into the game. And it's something really great for fans of the show, since we really grew up with a lot of these tracks, or at least similar tracks. Now, I will say one thing though, you do deal with a little bit of repeat audio here and there, because SpongeBob likes to say the same thing over and over and over again, basically referencing himself, referencing the show, referencing himself type of thing, but it's all silly and good fun.
Wait as a whistle.
Hey, you barnacle head! Watch where you're going!
The rock is talking to me. Almighty Rock, I am at your command.
Down here, you big pink lummox!
Oh, hi there, Mr. Plankton. Are you going to vaporize me today?
So very tempting. Unfortunately, I found myself in the undesirable position of having to assist you.
I was in an undesirable position yesterday, and now my neck hurts.
Battle for Bikini Bottom, for all intents and purposes, is a platforming collectathon. Every level, there's something for someone missing. So every time somebody has to do something for someone 10 times or 8 times or 16 times or whatever the case may be, and you're that someone, you are SpongeBob and or Sandy and or Patrick, because you have to swap between all three of them, because every single level is a little diverse. It'll have little areas for each and every single character and where they excel at, which is actually pretty darn cool. Even the main objective itself is still a collectathon. We have to collect golden spatulas to unlock the separate other areas, and we'll be switching those characters through and through up until the end of the game. Granted, this is an 8-hour game, so that type of gameplay loop won't really get on your nerves too much, but at the same time, for a person at least in my position here in 2023, it's not anything special for me anymore. When I was younger, definitely. I used to love this type of gameplay, but like now, I think it's a very old and dated type of game. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a bad gameplay loop whatsoever. There's tons of enemies to fight, puzzles, collectibles, mini games, and some decent boss fights along the way, along with a very competent checkpoint system that eliminates the backtracking with the box of imagination. And I say all of that knowing very well that the nostalgia did not last as long as I thought it would, and therefore made it so I didn't have as much fun as I thought I would.
The robot better change tactics and fast.
I want to play!
Patrick, we're not playing. We're fighting for our lives.
I want to play!
Oh, all right.
Spring! The old clothesline move.
Now, there's not really much to complain about SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, as there really is no big issues like that. It runs super smooth, looks super good. The repeat audio sometimes can be an annoyance, but it's nothing more than a little tiny annoyance. My biggest gripe really is the overall mission design, which I kind of alluded to, but also at the same time, innately, even though the game does things to protect itself from backtracking, there is still backtracking aspects to the whole gameplay loop itself, because you have to backtrack to unlock certain areas because you missed certain spatulas or you missed a certain amount of coins, let's say, and therefore you have to go back to those certain areas to progress into the further levels, thus making the game a bit repetitive. Another thing that kind of bothered me is the fact that there's no real progression system here. Like, honestly, there's nothing here. Now, we do get moves, we do get extra moves later on, but that's almost halfway through the game, and it's like, okay, now you waited to give me something? So in terms of progression, and you feel like you're actually getting something done besides just collecting everything, yeah, it really does hurt it, because I don't feel like SpongeBob is either learning something new or getting stronger or getting better or getting a new, like, it's not really doing that. So in terms of progression, it does drop the ball. In conclusion, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is a fun game for all ages, and if you want to play SpongeBob, this is a great place to start until the lack of innovation bursts your bubble. Final score for SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Edition is a 7 out of 10. Now let's go ahead and answer the 3 questions, shall we? Is it fun? Is it worth it? And is it for you? Is it fun? Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. It's highly recommended to your kids as well. So if you want to play a game with your kids, this would be a no-brainer, definitely. Now, is it worth it? You can find this under 20 bucks. So definitely, if you're gonna pay full price for it, if I'm not mistaken, it's still running either 30 or 40 MSRP. I would say no, just wait for a sale, cop it under the $15 mark. This is definitely one of those games. It's also a perfect, if I'm not mistaken, it's also available on Switch. Definitely grab it on Switch for your kids. That way it's like very harmless fun. Yeah, you will be whacking jellyfish with a little spin attack, but other than that, it's just stupid, silly, reckless cartoon fun. And finally, is it for you? Like I mentioned, if you're a fan of SpongeBob, if you have some kids, if you want to play video games and you have some kids, if you have a very loose humor, this is the game for you. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. The review for Cosmic Shake comes out, if I'm not mistaken, it might come out the same day as this review. So please subscribe to the channel. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, check out the links down in the description below. Amazon, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Everything is down there in the description below. You could also support me by checking out my Patreon, also down in the description below. $1 a day keeps the landlord away. I'm your host, Mike Fury. It's been a complete pleasure. Until next time, Mike, off.